As I think all of us expected, for the second night in a row, the NHL's second-round Western Conference game saw 9 goals scored between the two teams, with one player on the losing team scoring 4. Very common thing, happens all the time. Tonight's losing star was Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, and he had himself quite a game, including scoring the most Draisaitl goal ever. But I mean, before we get to that, we have to acknowledge Draisaitl may be the greatest NHL playoff performer of all time. He has 52 points in his last 25 playoff games. He's got 11 goals in 7 games so far this year. It all started off, however, with a feed from McDavid on the power play. Draisaitl would shoot it into the empty net. All game he was trying to find that spot near the circle, trying to evade coverage, and he did it perfectly here 4 minutes in. However, Vegas, no slouches, would tie things up less than a minute later and would take the 2-1 lead with 10 minutes left in the first. The tying goal especially, not great, really sloppy defensive play by Edmonton, and a lot of the team felt like they didn't show up tonight. On the power play, Mark Stone would tip in a third goal for Vegas, and he would take a cross-check in his injured back for his efforts. I gotta say, the NHL needs to crack down on these cross-checks. I get it, especially when you're fighting in front of the net, but like this after the goal's been scored, it's just not necessary. Desharnais looking a little silly on several goals, probably not a big fan of this one. Draisaitl would cut the lead down to 1 in the dying seconds of the first with a classic Draisaitl goal behind the goal line, banked in off the back of the goaltender's helmet. He's so good at that. I think he's done that 3 times now this year. We wouldn't see any more scoring until the third, when Draisaitl on the power play again would slot home a nice pass as he found himself open far side, and this would be the hat trick goal. It would tie the game, but that's not how things would end, obviously. I mean, this is the playoffs. Vegas would respond to the pathetic Oiler uprising with 2 goals within a minute to make the score 5-3, and this was about a minute after Draisaitl scored, so they stopped it pretty brutally. On the 5th goal in particular, Edmonton just looked slow, and they did really for a lot of the game. Vegas just had another step, they had continual pressure, and that's why at that point the shots were 28-17. However, Draisaitl would get his 4th goal of the game, cutting the lead to 1 with over 10 minutes left. This was a nice counterattack, good choice not to freeze the puck, the nice outlet pass, then finding the trailing Draisaitl. McDavid would actually get a really good chance to tie the game right after that goal, but despite Edmonton's pushing, Vegas would hold on with 2 minutes left. Edmonton's big boys are out there, they finally get a chance to pull the goalie, but they mess up. Too many men, not a good look at all. They'd be forced to pull the goalie for 5-on-5. McDavid would end up getting the puck stripped by Eichel, who would snipe it from his own end, making it 6-4 the final score. Really a shame to waste a 4-goal effort by Draisaitl, and when asked after the game, he was not satisfied to have even got that personal achievement. Draisaitl would actually be the 7th Oiler to score 4 goals in a game, which is kind of insane, but when you think about the 80s Oilers, I guess it makes more sense. It's also the 7th straight Game 1 loss for the Oilers in a playoff series, which is another kind of insane stat, but also gives Oiler fans some hope that things might improve moving forward. But did you watch the game? What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts and more down below.